you should already know how to do multiplying. Now, there is also a Maths Online task with multiplying and dividing algebraic fractions. So if you would prefer to do that, that's fine by me, as long as you do something. So this is the first sheet of the sheet that I've given you. It just shows you some examples on how to do it. So you need to go here to get to the sheet I want you to do. So I'm going to do a couple with you so you can have a go at all the columns. Now you only have to do every second. Okay, how about we do the odd numbers? Yeah, all right, let's do the odd numbers. So the first one here says x over 2 times y over 3. Now the rule is you multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. Okay, so x times y gives xy, and 2 times 3 gives 6. So top times top and bottom times the bottom. So if you can do that, you can do any of these. Alright, so I'm going to leave you to have a go at 3. Now remember, when you got n times n, how do we multiply that? How do we abbreviate that? Hopefully you remember it's n squared. So I'll leave you with those ones. Alright, let's try, I'm going to leave you with 5 and I'm going to show you how to do 6. Alright, here we go. You're going to multiply all the top ones together. Okay, 2 times m times 4m. Let's do the numbers first. What's 2 times 4? Hopefully you said 8. And then do the letters next. M times m is mm, or we abbreviate that to m squared. Okay, sorry, I just spat on there. Got to get rid of that. Alright, here's the next bit. Let's multiply the bottoms. Now I've only got 1k, but I've got 2 numbers, so let's multiply the 2 numbers together first, because we always write our numbers down first. 3 times 5 is 15, and then I've just got a k, so I write the k last. Okay, you have a go at 5 now. You can pause the video and have a go yourself if you want. Right, number 7. So number 7 says, these can be simplified. Look for letters to cancel and numbers that divide through. So you can do this 2 ways. You can either cancel straight away, or you can multiply it out and then cancel. We're going to use their method first. We're going to multiply across, and then we're going to cancel. Now you're going to do 7 and 9, so I'm going to be cheeky and I'm going to do 8. Alright, so 8 says a times 6. When you write in algebra, you always write the number first 6 and then the letter second a. And then you multiply the next 2 down the bottom. 3 times a gives 3a. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do what this says here. We're going to simplify. So the first thing we can do is look at the letters. What letter is the same up the top that's also the same down the bottom? Hopefully you said A. When you have the same thing, if you go 2 divided by 2, you get 1. If you go 10 divided by 10, you get 1. So if you go A divided by A, you end up with just 1. Okay? So if you cross off the letters, they don't just disappear, they actually turn into 1. A over A equals 1. Let's look at the numbers. 6 over 3. You can use your calculator for this if your brain's not working, or you can say to yourself, how many 3's fit into 6? And hopefully you went 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. Okay, nope, that didn't work. That's a bit silly. 2. Okay, that leaves us with 2 over 1, because up the top 2 times 1 is just 2, and down the bottom 1 times 1 is just 1. And 2 over 1 can be just written as good old whole number 2. Okay, alright, have a go at 9 for me. I'm going to do 10. Alright, 10 says, let's go crossways, ux times x. So there's a u and then there's 2 x's. I abbreviate that by writing x squared. On the bottom, 2 times u means 2u. Alright, let's see what we can cross off. What's the same on the top that's also on the bottom? Hopefully you said u. Yay. Cross them off. You can put a 1 there if you want, but really we don't need to write it in. So what am I left with on the top? I'm left with x squared. And what's left on the bottom? I am left with 2. Now the other way I said you could do it is you can do it here in the question if you want, and I think they're going to do that in the next column. So if you can see anything on the top that's the same as anything on the bottom, you could have cancelled there as well. Anyway, once you get a bit better with this, you might want to try that method. Alright, you're going to do 13. So I'm going to do 12 to show you how to do 13. Alright, so we're going to multiply all the way across. 2 times 3, multiply the numbers and you get 6. And then we've got A and K, so I'm going to put an A and K there. And then on the bottom, I've got K times 2. Write the number first. How do we abbreviate K times K? We write K squared. Alright, when I get over here, let's simplify. What letter's on the top that's also on the bottom? There's a K on the top, and there's actually K squared, remember, means KK. So I'm going to get rid of the squared, so I still have 1K left. And now do the numbers. 2 goes into 6. How many times? Hopefully you said 3. I'm left with a 3 up the top and an A up the top. And I'm left with a K on the bottom. Alright, you're going to have a go at 13 and 14 for me. But I just want to show you something. You have a whole number here. Okay, and what you need to do is, it doesn't have a top or a bottom, doesn't it? So you've got to give it either a top or a bottom. Now, do you remember what a whole number is the same as a fraction? A whole number is the same as the number over 1. Okay, so that now means that you're going to go 3f times 4 times the h to get the top, and then 2 times 1 times 6f to get the bottom. Alright, and then that will be the first column, Dunskies. Alright, so what we need to do now is we need to learn how to divide. Now the good thing about fractions is there's a really simple trick to turn them into a multiplication. Now you already know how to multiply. You've been doing it over here. So we're going to do this little trick and we're going to turn it into a multiplication. So what we do, the rule is, you may have learnt this a long time ago. You flip the second fraction. This is the rule. That's also known as the reciprocal. See here? Reciprocal just means to flip it upside down. So you're going to flip the second fraction, and then second, you're going to change, I'll move that over a bit, the divided by to a times. Excuse me. If I had a little bit more time, I would go over that. Pardon me. But basically, dividing can be done, because you know how it's the opposite. Dividing and timesing are the opposite to each other. So when you have a fraction, if you flip it, you're actually just changing the operation from a division to a times. So in this one, I'm going to get you to have a go at 15. And I might get you to have a go at 18. So all you have to do for 15 is flip the fraction. So I'll show you how to do it on 16. So on 16, to flip the fraction, I'm going to move the 3 from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to move the y from the bottom to the top. That's it. That's all you do. I'll do 17 for you. I'm going to put the 3 from the bottom to the top, and the 1 from the top to the bottom. Okay, so 5, remember what I said before? 5 is a whole number, means 5 over 1. So you try and flip that one for me. Okay, and you have a go at 19 while I have a go at 20. If I'm going to flip 20, I'm going to put the 2e up on the top, and I'm going to put the c on the bottom. Alright, so let's practice our rule. Okay, here's our rule. Come on, pen. There we go. Our rule is, and it says it to you there, can you see that? Divide these by finding the reciprocal, that's the flipping action, and then multiplying. So they've done an example for you here. What you need to know is, whatever the fraction is that comes after the division sign, that's always the one you flip. Okay? So you'll notice, if you go to here, you notice now the v is no longer on the bottom, it's now on the top. And the 3 is no longer on the top, it's now on the bottom. And then we just do it like a timesing. Alright, let's have a go at 21 together. Let's see how we go. So the first fraction, come on pen. The first fraction I am just going to rewrite. So A over C goes here. This second fraction I'm going to flip. So D is on top, so now I'm going to write it on the bottom. Here B is on the bottom, so now I'm going to write it on the top. Okay, do what I just did before. They've already changed the division to a times for us. Let's multiply crossways. A times B is AB. C times D is CD. Okay, right, you have a go at 22, and then I'm going to show you 23. Pause this video at any time so that you can have a go. So 23 says D over 3 divided by 4 over D. Okay, remember, first fraction, I write it as it is. Second fraction, I need to flip. They've already changed the division to a times for me, so I don't have to worry about that second thing. 4's on top, it now goes on the bottom. D's on the bottom, it now goes on the top. Right, let's multiply these two out together. D times D gives me D squared. 3 times 4 gives me 12. Alright, I'm going to let you do a couple more of those, and I'm going to do 26. That one looks a bit difficult. And you can do 25, 27, and I think it was 24. Right, here's 26. So what do? We keep the first fraction as it is. We don't change it. The division has been changed to a times for us, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, do you remember, how do you write a whole number as a fraction? Hopefully you remember. You put it over 1 like that. Yeah? Alright, so I need to flip that. 5 needs to now go to the bottom, and the 1 from the bottom now needs to go up to the top. Okay? Now let's multiply crossways. 3c times 1 is 3c. And m times 5, but don't forget we write the number first and the m second. Alright, how do you think you're going there? Watch out for 27. They've got a simplification there. I'm going to show you how to do it by doing 28. So if you're not sure how to do 27, let's watch 28. So first fraction, I rewrite here. Second fraction, I have to flip it. 3 goes in the bottom, 4g goes up the top. Right, let's multiply across, just like we did in the first column. 4 times 6, use your calculator if you can't remember, 24. We have a y times a g. Usually I put them in alphabetical order, but it doesn't really matter. So next one, 5 times 3 is, hopefully you said 15. Now it's telling us, it's given us an extra thingy there, we have to simplify. Alright, let's simplify. I'm going to show you 2 ways. You decide which way you like best. So the first way is this. What's a number that you can think of that goes into 15 and 24? It's got to be the biggest number you can think of. Come on, somebody answer me. It's a video, you can't. Alright, hopefully you said 3, miss, 3. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you're really stuck on these, your calculator won't do the letters, but you can just put the numbers in. So if I go 24, fraction key, 15 on my calculator, now my calculator's good, it gives it to me as a mixed numeral, an improper fraction. If yours gives your answer as 1 3/5, you're going to have to press second function fraction key and get it to change it into a mixed numeral. So as a mixed numeral it becomes 8 over 5. So that's what you need. Okay, so no, that's improper, I said the wrong thing again. No mixed numerals, okay? Only improper. Only improper fractions. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so just in case you didn't want to use your calculator, you would have said to yourself, 24 divided by 3 gives me 8. How many 3's in 15? 5. And then what are the letters left? Hopefully you said G and Y, miss. So there's your answer there. Okay, let me get rid of those now. There you go. So that's your answer. Okay, and last but not least, if you want to try some hard ones, let's have a go. Okay, so this question says, these have both divided by and times in them. Only invert the term behind the division sign and change it to a times. All right. Let's have a go at 29 together. So remember what I said? Whatever the fraction is after the division sign, that's the one you flip. All right? So that's what they've done. So here, k over 3 comes first. There's no division sign in front of it, is there? So we don't flip it. Then we can have a division sign. What comes after the division sign? 2 over 3. So that's the one you have to flip. To 3 over 2. Next one, is that a division sign? No, it's not. So you don't flip it, okay? Only after the division sign. Let's multiply them out. K times 3 times 4. Hopefully you said 12k. 3 fourths are 12. And on the bottom, 3 times 2 times 6. Hopefully you said 2 3s are 6. And then k. Alright, now we obviously have to simplify it. Let's get a different colour. So, 6 and 12. Let's look at the numbers first. Does 6 go into 12 evenly? Yes, it does. Excellent. 6 goes into 6 once. 6 goes into 12 twice. Do we have the same letter on the top and on the bottom? If we do, we're also able to cancel those out. And that leaves us with a big fat 2 as our answer. Have a go at 30. Pause the video. And I won't do 31 because that's pretty much the same as the top one. Let's try 32. That one looks a bit harder. Okay. First of all, make sure you find the one that comes after the division sign. So rewrite all the other fractions exactly as they are if they do not come straight after a division sign. So this one I am going to flip. 3 is going to go on top, v squared on the bottom. Right, let's do it. Crossways. 2v times 3 times 3. Use your calculator if you're not sure. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Don't forget the letter. What letter do we have? It was a V. Beautiful. Now let's do the bottom. Let's do the numbers first. 5 times 2 is, hopefully you said, 10. Now there's a V squared there, so we've got to write a V squared down. Now look at that. There's an extra box, so that's giving us a hint we must have to break something down. Let's try a different colour. Alright, what's the biggest number you can think of that can go into 18 and 10? Well, only 2 and 5 can go into 10, and 5 doesn't go into 18, so it must be 2. How many 2's in 10? We just said 5, didn't we? How many 2's in 18? Hopefully 9. Okay, remember V squared means there's 2 V's, so I can cross off this V with one of these V's, or just cross off the 2. That leaves us with a 9 on top, and a 5 on the bottom, and one of the V's, just pick the red one or the blue one, not both of them. So 9 over 5V is your answer. Okay, that's all there is. There are the answers if you want to check them. Good luck, Year 10. I will see you on Wednesday.